Welcome viewers, here it is, episode 4 of this sailing adventure to the Baltic Sea in stowaway by Nicholson 32. Following departure from Pin Mill across the North Sea to Warnemünde, and then 180 nautical mile passage from Warnemünde to Heiligenhafen, and into the Elbe in the third episode, crossing the northern part of Germany, the Kiel Canal. And here I am in Laboe, and in this episode we'll be cutting across the north coast of Germany and then onward to Warnemünde. The initial intention was to sail from Laboe to Warnemünde in one leg, some 60 odd miles. However, there was a low pressure centre developing off the west coast of Sweden, which caused some pretty horrible weather in the northern coast of Germany, so I divert into Heiligenhafen about halfway along. So a pretty murky start, and the first trip into the Baltic, probably not as I imagined it, but it is what it is.
We're just heading out of the Kiel fjord. There's a small TSS just in front of us, and we're sort of running along the east side of that. But there is a lot of, seems to be a big firing range from here on to Fehmarn, which is the island which has got like a bridge that goes over from the mainland. We can pass underneath that, but between here and there, there's like a big sort of danger sort of area. There's a big light over there that's flashing red and orange, so I think it's to say that it is active. I need to just look at the pilot book and find out what I need to do here. This is the firing range area. We've come out of here this morning and we're just tracking along the coast a little bit, and then we're gonna sort of head to Fehmarn. It's really strange not thinking or having to worry about any tides. When I got up this morning, I was automatically in my head, I was thinking, oh, how much time have I got to get out of the fjord? Just thinking that's how it works, like in the UK and Holland and Germany and, you know, North Sea. And it suddenly clicked, I didn't have to worry about it. Oh, it's chucking it down here. Has been for the last couple of hours. We are just coming back in towards the mainland again. So this firing range is just around here. There's still a few of these little yellow markers around, and but yeah, we've got wind speed up to sort of like 13-14 knots on the quarter, which we're getting quite a nice pull off the sails, which is great. I had to put in this towel in front of the hatch because it's just letting all the water in. I still really want to get a bit of perspex cover made up, stitched around underneath the spray hood, and then I can use that as a sort of, I can section this off as like a dry area then for exactly this sort of situation when I've got a following weather from astern, and it's just crawling into the cockpit and into this sort of area which is normally nice and dry, and it saves you from having to put all the hatch boards in. We do have a building amount of weather coming from the west. You can see it over there. The Coast Guard's been putting reminders for people to, you know, be aware of the weather, because it is really kicking up later this evening and into tomorrow. Really strong winds, 40 knots, 45 knots, so need to find somewhere to get in, I think. These weather systems in the Baltic just seem to crop up out of nowhere. You have to be really keen on the weather forecasting, because that one, or this one that we're about to get, it wasn't really showing anything on the weather until sort of maybe 24 hours beforehand. And yeah, this little spiral of low pressure just built up, and then yeah, all of a sudden you've got a full-blown gale forecast and expected. So yeah, definitely worth keeping on tune with that. So it might be rainy, but it's got a lovely warm feel to the air, and yeah, not at all cold. The situation was pretty dire a little while ago. Finally got my boots on. Yeah, pretty soaked through. I hate having wet feet. So if I just show you, this is the area, this is Fehmarn Island, and this is where we're going to come into. We're just heading into this area right now. There's sort of rocks along this side, and sort of rocks on the approach, so we have to follow these lines here. And then when we get in, there's this buoyed channel here. There's a little well, there's a bay here that we can anchor in if we want, and that gives us a bit of protection from the wind moving in. But right at the top there's a little marina, and I think I'm going to call in there and get out of the way of all this blow that's coming through.
So we cleared the danger area offshore. We had to come all the way around the outside of the zone, which probably put an extra sort of 2 hours on the trip. But we had a decent wind building from astern, so we made good time towards Heiligenhafen, and yeah, came into the bay, the sails away. And it was around this time I started experiencing issues with the tiller pilot, and I need the tiller pilot to help me with the boat and the power while I'm doing things like putting fenders out, etc., getting mooring lines ready. So that was quite frustrating, and sending the boat round in circles and all this business. So needed to get in and check it out, see what was actually wrong. I suspected that it was water ingress, but it's an old unit, so it could have been anything.
Swedish. So it looks like these are posts, so I've rigged up with the post configuration. I've got 2 stern lines, one for each post. Like a large day boat coming out. Not sure what that is. Yeah, I'm going to try a new thing here. I've just looped my lines around ready, and I'm going to see how this one goes. Just saves me having to cleat off. Might save a bit of time. We'll see.
So I'd had one attempt already at a box berth mooring in Rendsburg and Kiel, which went okay, I think. They were quite large boxes in Rendsburg. On this occasion it was absolutely pouring down with rain, so all my lines were soaking wet. I was the deck wet, so I had to be a bit careful. But I found a free berth, and coming in here, found a berth with a boat moored on the downwind side. So as I'm coming in, the wind is just slowly blowing stowaway onto the downwind berth. So if you haven't got anything there, if you haven't got any boat moored up on the downwind side, what happens is, as you're messing around with your stern lines, getting your stern lines around the 2 posts, is your boat just start drifting into that open box. So it's always better to find a berth with preferably with 2 boats either side. But if you've got completely empty boxes, then it might be a bit more challenging. So I managed to get one stern line around the first post initially, but the second one was sort of a bit of a fair distance away, so I used the boat hook and then went forward to secure the bow line. Had some help from a neighbouring berth holder,
a little bit more.
And to be fair, there was always someone there to give you a hand. So once the boat is secured forward and aft, there's always a little bit of jiggery-pokery with the length of the lines, because you've got to get the distance right to be able to get off the boat from the bow. You don't want a massive distance because you're not going to be able to get off the boat otherwise. So yeah, the thing you don't want to happen is that when you secure the stern lines and they're too long, is that the bow just crashes into the pontoon. So it's better that you have that you start off reasonably short and then just adjust the length of the stern lines and the bow lines, so eventually you've got a decent distance to be able to get off the bow.
Very well. About a couple of hours in this marina now, and it's blowing bells out here. Yeah, really glad I didn't decide to go onto the anchor, because that would have been pretty uncomfortable, I think, even in the bay over there. But this is a really nice spot. It's I've just had a quick walk up to the harbour office, and actually it's got everything here. It's a bit of a holiday spot. It's sort of fairground and all that sort of stuff there. There's like a Ferris wheel over there as well. But yeah, generally it's got like supermarkets, bars everywhere, and really this is a 1,000 berth marina we're in at the minute. Facilities are really good, got electric and water on the pontoons, and it's €21 a night here, which is pretty bloody good, to be honest. So it's a little bit less than the last one I was in. Well, actually it's a third less than the last one I was in. But this one is between posts, obviously, as you saw me scrabbling around trying to have a go at. No damage done, which is good. Nice wide access between fingers as well, between the pontoons, so you've got plenty of manoeuvrability, so when you come out you can turn around quite nicely, and it gives you enough space to mess around in like you need with a Nicholson, because they're a pain in the neck to move. Just had this little boat that's just turned up, this little folk boat with 3 on board, and I think they're actually staying on it, but it's just like I feel guilty, just me on this thing, and then there's 3 of them in this tiny little 25-footer. But I'm thinking this blow is going to increase to a force 8, I think, overnight. We're right at the bottom end, very tight low pressure system. Low pressure is just to the south of Copenhagen, I think, at the minute, and it's all of this bottom half of that low pressure as it's coming through is hitting us bang on right where we are. So it's going to be a bit of a wild night, I think.
So sitting on the boat waiting for the weather to ease up was getting a bit depressing, so I just put the dodgy bloke poncho on and went and had a look around. Tourism is an important part of the economy of Heiligenhafen. Every summer the main attraction is a 10-day festival called Hafenfesttag, or Harbour Festival, which attracts visitors from all over the country. The town has just celebrated its 250-year anniversary and has kept the charm of the traditional German fishing town, though some well-designed amendments to the town's centre have been made.
Just finished doing a little bit of laundry there, and it's pretty easy pay out thing. So yeah, but it's still expensive. It's like £5 for the washing machine for a cycle, and then €5 for the tumble dryer. So yeah, try not to visit this too often. Just let a good build up of undies sort themselves out, and then I go to the wash. So all the joys of having a faulty tiller pilot. I have been working on this for about 4 hours now. I've had it apart about 1 million times. I've cleaned up as much as I can see, and it's working, sort of. It's kind of doing what it's supposed to do, but it's just got a constant alarm sounder, and it seems to be a little bit edgy with just how much movement there is when you're kind of like moving it from side to side. Yeah, I think it's just moisture. It's really got in there and ruined it, to be honest. Now I can sail the boat with just the wind pilot. That's fair enough. But I am going to need a tiller pilot for longer trips with the engine. Obviously, the wind pilot won't work without wind, and it won't work with the engine running, even if there is wind. So, yeah. I've got a plan B though. I've got a spare TP32 unit at home, Simrad, and should have brought it with me, but I didn't. Stupid. And I've got actually a friend who's coming over to Poland. He was going to meet me up anyway in about sort of a week. Chris, you may have seen him in a couple of the other videos, but he is going to bring over that spare Simrad TP32 so tomorrow. So as long as I can get to Rostock tomorrow, then he'll meet us there, and yeah, we're going to have a few beers, and obviously it's going to be me paying for it. Get a new pilot on. I think I can use this plug on the TP32 cable. I can put that in, and I can use it in the existing socket. Should be alright. At the minute I've just got a 2-pin connector on that new unit, and it is pretty new, to be honest. It's not done that many miles at all. Right then, let's see if we can't mess this one up. I think I'm just going to release the bow lines, pull her in at stern, and just make our way out. We haven't got an awful lot of wind here, to be honest. I've just tallied up a couple of little insulation markers on the line, just so I know the length roughly in future, because I think these boxes are a fairly standard sort of size, and that should help speed things up a little bit in future.
Leaving a box berth is reasonably straightforward. Release the bow lines first, and then just pull the boat out backwards with a bit of reverse thrust to clear the box. Obviously I'm in a Nicholson, so that doesn't work like that. One thing to bear in mind is that some of these posts have little metal toggles sort of facing towards the pontoon. I have seen some posts where that little metal toggle, and you just see it there, just on the left hand side, is actually facing inwards to the box. So a perfect catch for your, or a perfect hook, if you like, for your rigging. So just make sure if you do come into a box berth and leave a box berth, is that they don't get wrapped, if they are facing the wrong way, don't get wrapped into your rigging. Generally speaking, these boxes were very well maintained, and I didn't have a problem with that at all. A little bit of a mare coming out of here. I'm the bow facing the wrong way as I came out of the box, and thought, well, I've got plenty of space to turn around in. But no, because HMS Galleon needed, like, I don't know, 15 miles turning circle just to get round. So I tried a little bit of forward and reverse. Obviously having to play a little bit with the prop walk, which is to starboard. You have a lot of wash coming out of the port side as you're in reverse. That's the flow of water down the keel is with preference to port. It doesn't just go equally down the keel, it comes out one side, and that is based on the rotation of the propeller. And what you'll find is here, the more that you run the prop in reverse, the boat will actually walk to starboard, and eventually with the bow swinging round to starboard. So you have to do it with much less interval than what I'm doing here. Almost intermittent pulses of reverse to kind of control that walk to starboard. But it was all based on my own experience so far, but I did need to up my game with it moving into the Baltic. I knew it was going to be a bit of a challenge, especially being single-handed, but it was a perfect place to do it. Nice big area, no wind, no current, so eventually we got the bow round.
So there you go, even trying to turn around in this massive space is a pain in the arse in these boats, but anyway, we've done it. Just. Well, this seems to be keeping us on a course at the minute. I've come out of this channel with it on. Obviously I can't hear any beeps when I'm pressing the buttons, but it's doing something, just not without the annoying alarm. So coming up to the Fehmarn Bridge. It's quite a large one. It's 22 meters height, but they're doing a lot of construction work, so it's reduced slightly, but I've got plenty of clearance. Given the amount of construction around, I thought that this passage might be closed off and I'd have to go like the long way around. The breeze has kicked up nicely, so we're coming through here at about 5.5 knots, which is nice. Obviously with the engine again. But yeah, once we're past this, I'm just going to turn the engine off and I'm just going to drift around. The telepilot did okay this morning coming out, held the course. Obviously there's no confirmation that I'm pressing buttons anymore because I've removed the buzzer. Incredible. So we haven't got much channel room now, it's sort of really narrowed in. There is a warning on the chart about ever-changing depths, so we're down to 7.3 meters, which I'm not really complaining about. So the wind's pretty light, so I'm going to get the Spinnaker out. Actually, the wind is probably a bit more for flying her like a, you know, I'm just going to try her off the no, I'll try her with a pole I think as well. So yeah, let's get this set up and get some speed up. I mean, it's in 4.2 knots at the minute, which is pretty good, but we're not quite maintaining the course with the with just the Genoa and the mainsail. So I'll get this up and we can fly a little bit more downwind, which would be ace. So this is, I think, the guy for running through the pole. So I'll run this forward and set the pole up, and then take the Spinnaker out.
So some boats have all the lines already rigged for rigging out the Spinnaker, but yeah, I have to do this all sort of manually. So it's not a very speedy process, and there's a lot of lines going everywhere initially. But when you're all set up, eventually you can just launch up behind the Genoa. I'm gonna plan to launch behind the Genoa, just to enable the Spinnaker to unravel if it is sort of twisted up. Once it's under power, what tends to happen sometimes, if you've got a twist halfway down the Spinnaker, they'll like power on at the top if you haven't got the Genoa there, and yeah, it just kind of the twist becomes more compressed, so it doesn't unravel that easy. So it's always better, I find, to hoist around the back of the Genoa and then furl in the Genoa once the Spinnaker has stabilised itself in the right orientation.
Hey! Alright, it might not look the best at the minute, but I'll soon sort that out. Okay, I wouldn't call that a professional job at all. And I've still got a little bit to do. The wind has just shifted round again. I think maybe come up a little bit more, it's just a bit floppy at the minute. I need to tidy this lot up. It's a bit of a mess at the minute. So I've got, I don't know how, but I've got the boat doing nearly 4 knots, 3.8 knots. Very light airs at the minute. Under the using the Pacific pilot, the wind pilot, and keeping the Spinnaker full. We are quite close to it. So but yeah, that's really good, and it's everything's kind of stable. I don't even want to breathe right now because well, just feel like I might just suddenly do something and then puts us into a limbo again. The mainsail is doing something, although I'm not 100% sure. That might need bringing in a bit. No, I'll leave that. I don't want to do anything with that just yet. In these light airs, any little change can have an impact on the speed. But yeah, we're doing what, 3.5 knots, which is, in these conditions, is incredible, really. There you go. It's the joy of sailing in the Baltic. You don't actually have to. Oh, there's a little bit of breeze there, and we're going sort of more beam on to the wind. And yeah, the Spinnaker isn't going to like that. Well, I tried, and we got down to about 1 knot and started going around in circles. So the engine's on for a bit. I think this is just a little lull as we're coming out of the Furman Island area. So I'll take the Spinnaker down, put it on the deck, and just get it ready for later on, I think. Just pull my rudder up. There's loads of this seagrass everywhere. The wind pilot's got hairdo. That's cool. There's a load of that in the water strainer this morning for the engine. Like the whole, it's the most clogged I've ever seen. It was just, the whole thing was just solid weed. So yeah, definitely worth checking it out. But yeah, we are, well, doing 4.5 knots with the engine. I've just stowed the Spinnaker up front with everything else still rigged up, just in case the wind comes back. Should do. I think this is just a lull at the minute, but yeah, to see. I'm not going mad on the engine. Just above 2,000 RPM, which is about 1.6 litres an hour instead of about 2.5 litres an hour at cruise rev. So just ticking along, really. I'm hoping for some more wind. Somehow that tiller pilot is working, sort of. Well, I'm fingers crossed this wind holds up. It's doing a lovely sail now without the engine. It's beautiful. Wind is just off our quarter. It's about 120 degrees from the nose, which is lovely, and it's giving us a bang on course for Rostock. So yeah, absolutely fantastic. I've just tidied away the Spinnaker because I didn't need it anymore, and I can't really fly at this angle too well. So yeah, we'll just run like this for a bit. Even if I can get an hour out of this doing this speed, I'll be happy. Wind angle's changed a little bit. We're still sailing, obviously we're using the wind pilot, but it has gone light, and we've just changed our course slightly by, I think that's about 10 degrees. We're still making for this stretch of the coast. I don't really want to change my course. The further I come off the wind, the lighter the wind will go. The further it goes round onto our stern with a correction in heading. So kind of not really keen on adjusting that if it's keeping the boat going at 3.5 knots. Chances are anyway that'll shift back round and we'll be back on the original course again within half an hour. So sometimes it's best to just leave it. That is not hanging about. Well, we are about 12 miles from Rostock, and yeah, the wind's been, well, quite consistent, to be honest. It's been really nice little crossing and completely free of any navigational hazards at all, apart from a bit of a shipping route right in the middle. But yeah, just from one side to the other of this bay, yeah, 35 miles just running like this all day. It's been absolutely amazing. I've got this big tool ship just over here. I've just been keeping a bit of an eye on. Over here is Lübeck, this capital of the world for marzipan, for any marzipan lovers. Rostock is over here somewhere. I'm kind of just running along the coast at the minute because of the wind direction. If I head in that way, I end up with this sea, which is, I'm surprised how sort of lumpy it is. It's not big, but it's just a bit short and sharp, and when you beam onto it, it's actually quite uncomfortable. So I'm running directly downwind, following the coast, and it's much more comfortable. Just got the preventer on the main, just in the event of, and I haven't bothered poling the Genoa out. There's enough wind to keep that full most of the time. Angelina. So we're just approaching the coast. We're about 2 nautical miles away from it, but we've sort of landed kind of about 5 nautical miles to the south of Rostock. So just approaching it here, and Rostock's over there. It's just that we were making really good speed on this tack, and it was a bit more comfortable with a bit of sea state. So I'm just going to swing around now with the wind pilot. Give it a couple of notches. I'm almost running downwind then. Oh, put it the other way. There you go. Wing on wing for the time being. Heading directly 090 now. But there we go. It's been a lovely sail today. 35 nautical miles sailed finally. Just approaching the port. It's not the widest of entrances, and we got a ferry coming in, so I don't know if it's a wise idea to enter just yet.
So a little bit of a confession to make. I've been calling this Rostock. It's not. This is Warnemünde, which is the seaside resort at the mouth of the river Warnau, and Warnemünde itself meaning literally mouth of the Warnau. So I'd read in the pilot book there were 2 options for berthing here in Warnemünde. One was in the new marina recently built on the outside of the harbour wall, and the other option was to find a box berth in the Alta Strom, or Old Channel, which was fantastic because it was right in the middle of everything really, between the traditional fishing boats, with pubs, restaurants, bars, everything right there at the end of the pontoon. There's not many places where I've actually come into the centre of an old town and been able to berth up. Usually marinas are sort of kept quite a fair distance away, but to actually come in to sort of like the centre and more up was very special. Starting to feel a bit more confident with the between post moorings now, and it helped with having this line which runs between the shore and the post, so that the boat is off to the side. You can just pull it over with that instead of really reaching out with the boat hook. I did also have the harbour master who'd seen me come in, give me a hand with the bow line, which was really much appreciated.
And that is as easy as that. The thing is, as soon as that tiller goes over, it sends the boat doing all sorts of things in the back. It's like the back end wants to grow a brain and start coming up with great ideas how to completely balls your mooring up. But there we go.
So I had a bit of a chat with the harbour master. He said he'd stand in, but he raised the red dasher on the club flags post, which is brilliant. Said he didn't see many British boats coming up this way.
Just got some stocks from the supermarket and another 20 litres of diesel. That should see me through for a little while yet. So it's 21 euros a night here, which is pretty nice to be honest, even though there's a lot of boats moving up and down this river. At night time it's so quiet and it's really nice. We got everything going on tonight. We got the beers going. Chris is here.
Hey.
Hi Chris.
Hey.
We got my tiller pilot, which is down there, the new tiller pilot, and then some sausages. We're doing currywurst tonight, a meal. Would you believe? Currywurst. Gonna do some potatoes with that, and some sauerkraut. So we've got some sauerkraut somewhere in here. We've got some roll mops, and there's the sauerkraut. Mild Esser. So, still not sure what the mild Esser means. Meld. I think it's just...
Time will tell.
Time will tell.
Out. Yeah.
Maybe it's without chili. I don't know. Yeah. Obviously, got a few other things, some water and some shoes. And Chris is staying on board tonight because he's on the way to Poland. So I've just sorted out the front cabin a little bit just to make some space, and the bike is now on the toilet because we don't need the toilet because we've got the toilet here, so yeah. It's all good. So the end result, lots of washing up to do, but look at this. Yeah, bingo. Well, Chris is smashing his. It's disappeared.
Absolutely
I only
fantastic.
put it down 5 minutes ago. Chris has come down yesterday with the tiller pilot, so I've got the new tiller pilot. Here, the Semrad TP22. Chris has now left. He's on his way to Poland to meet some friends, and in a week's time he's coming out with us to do some exploring, to do some sailing, sort of along the Swedish sort of coastline. Is it okay if I take video? Is it okay? Thank you. Oh, these look amazing. This might not look very tasty, but rest assured it's very tasty if you like fish. There it goes. Got seagull down there. Ice cream now. This is absolutely amazing. A hardcore sailing holiday this turns out to be.
Interestingly, Warnemünde is one of the world's busiest cruise ports. Founded in 1200, Warnemünde was for centuries a small fishing village with minor importance for the economic and cultural development of the region. In 1323, Warnemünde lost its autonomous status as it was purchased by the city of Rostock in order to safeguard the city's access to the Baltic Sea. It wasn't until the 19th century that Warnemünde began to develop into an important seaside resort. So I had to trek up this lighthouse, quite an old one this one, 1897, and still currently in use. 37 metres, 121 foot high. It's open during the summer to visitors, so you can go right up the top and have a look out over the massive beach. It's one of the biggest beaches in northern Germany.
Not even at the top yet. Some more steps. Wow. This is good. Graffiti on the wall, though. 1943. So I have a little problem in that this tiller pilot is longer than the old one, and it won't fit into any of the holes without not being in the right position for easy movement to move the tiller. So I started drilling a hole, but I don't have a 10mm drill bit, which I think that is. So I got my friend, the harbour master, who's going to take me up to the shop so I can get hold of some, which is very kind. And we're at the market. Here we go, border for metal. I think we're going to be 10, yeah, I'd say 10. Okay, that's all for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate it's been quite a few weeks since the last episode, and that is because I've just literally been doing the trip and building the content. I've also had issues with my laptop, which I took with me, and the graphics driver just suddenly started playing up and freezing all my edits on my edit software. So yeah, I've had a few barneys with that, but that is now sorted. And the next episode hopefully be out next week, where I go further into sort of eastern part of Germany, into the sort of Greifsboden, inside the inland waterways there, down to an interesting place called Peenemünde, where the sort of rocket research facility was going off during the 1940s, and then down into Poland to Spinnaker. We want to pick up Chris, and then we head up towards Bornholm Island and south coast of Sweden. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, give us a thumbs up, and if you like the channel, click subscribe for future content. That would be really much appreciated. And yeah, I'll see you in the next episode. Cheers.